All right, everyone, and turning to cannabis, Martha Stewart is breaking into CBD, partnering with Canopy Growth to launch a new line of gummies, oil drops, and more. Cheddar's cannabis reporter Chloe Aiello sat down with David Klein, who's the CEO of Canopy Growth, to find out more about what we can expect and the state of the cannabis industry in the U.S. Take a look.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Canopy Growth did announce this partnership in February of last year. It's hard to believe the launch is finally here. What can consumers expect to see on shelves here in the U.S.?
Yeah, so we're going to bring CBD gummies and oils and soft gels to the market with Martha Stewart. I think the great thing about our collaboration with Martha is we bring what I think is best-in-class industry science and research to create really effective, high-quality, safe products. And Martha brings that connection with the consumer and the ability to create amazing flavors as well as an appropriate value proposition for the consumer set.
Absolutely. And what are some of those flavors that are coming out?
Well, my current favorite I have here is mixed berry medley. That's in gummies. We also have Meyer lemon oils, and so drops, and we have unflavored in soft gel. So the thing that's great though about what Martha brings to the market is she's personally tested the products to make sure that they meet her standards.
Now, Martha Stewart is not the first celebrity to partner up with Canopy Growth. You've also partnered up with people like Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, Drake. What is the strategy behind these partnerships? Are they actively driving growth?
Yeah, you know, I think Martha's a great example to use here, although the others fall into that category as well. I've seen CPG companies try to use kind of social influencers and celebrity endorsements, and that can work. That's a bit of a hit or miss proposition. I think what really works is when the celebrity engages. And so, you know, Martha has been teaching people how to live well for her entire career. And she is personally involved in all of the activities related to the our products. And so we get her expertise, she gets our expertise, and then she gets to go speak about our brands in a way that's authentic. And so when you can make that combination work with a celebrity partner, you can really create something special.
Absolutely. Now, we know that cannabis companies, Canadian cannabis companies that are trading on major U.S. exchanges cannot legally operate in the U.S., but you obviously have this sort of hemp and CBD play going on here. So how do you anticipate this will actually allow you to establish a foothold here in the U.S. prior to legalization?
Well, we have a couple of things going on in the U.S. So we have our ability to bring these CBD products with Martha Stewart to the U.S. Right now. We also have other brands like our BioSteel brand, which is a sports and fitness brand that is in the U.S. today, and we're expanding that or have expanded that into the CBD space. We have a beauty brand called This Works, which we're bringing into the U.S. as well to bring our CBD products and so forth to the U.S. consumer. So we have all of these things that we can do that fit within the legal framework within the U.S. At the same time, we have an interest in Acreage, which is a multi-state operator, which plays on the THC side. Now, the way that arrangement with Acreage works is that we have an obligation to purchase Acreage upon a permissibility event in the U.S. But at this point, they're operating as a standalone company. We see post-permissibility in the U.S. an opportunity to bring our CBD businesses together with the THC business that Acreage has to create a really strong ecosystem, which is then further aligned with Constellation Brands, a large beverage alcohol company in the US. So we think that we create quite a powerful ecosystem post-permissibility.
Absolutely. And that Acreage deal, pretty groundbreaking when you first announced it. A couple of months ago, however, amid sort of more turbulent, challenging market conditions, it was pretty substantially renegotiated. And that renegotiation was a little bit complicated. Can you tell us in plain terms what sort of happened there?
Yeah, what we did was unique, I think, in the industry. In fact, it hasn't been replicated in terms of this post-permissibility ownership structure. What we found that we needed to do, though, was to create better alignment between the shareholders and the management team at Acreage and the shareholders for Canopy Growth. And so the new transaction will be similar to the old transaction, except we're going to allow about 30% of the shares of Acreage to float freely in the public markets, which allows the Acreage shareholders and the management team to take advantage of all of the upside that can be created through the partnership between Canopy and Acreage. We think that improved alignment actually gives us a better business proposition in the U.S. At the same time, Canopy's agreed to infuse up to $100 million of cash into Acreage that can be deployed solely for the growth of their hemp CBD business.
Now, that deal is, as we discussed, contingent on either U.S. federal legalization or at least permissibility. Now, we have an election coming up this fall, but neither candidate has been especially enthusiastic about cannabis legalization. Do you expect that to change at all in the lead up to the election, considering how popular cannabis legalization is among young voters on either side of the aisle?
Yeah, I think the thing that's really exciting about where we are right now is the momentum that's building from a political standpoint for cannabis legalization. You see that it's not necessarily a partisan thing, because you see research shows 55% of Republican voters are in favor of cannabis legalization, 78% of Democratic voters are in favor of cannabis legalization, and so there's a lot of support around the consumer populace in the U.S. for this. And look, it's really just about time. Alcohol prohibition was repealed 87 years ago in the middle of a recession. We're sitting here today in a world that is trying to figure out how to create revenue for the government post-COVID and create jobs in a time when we have massive unemployment, and also address some social justice issues that are really pervasive in our society, but some of them have been exacerbated by cannabis prohibition. We see cannabis legalization as a way to help in all of those areas. So you almost get a little bit of something for everybody along the political spectrum.